Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. Oh, man. I shoot up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God. Allah, Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition on Split Decision. With me today is the one and only, the Lineal champion of the world, David Benavidez. Pleasure having you back on the show.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
So let's get straight to it. Your opponent, Uzcategui, he tested positive for PEDs. What was your initial reaction to the news?
You know, I was just a little bit very disappointed for having him, seeing that he tested positive for steroids. This was a fight I was looking forward to. I worked very hard. I knew it was going to be a really good fight, action-packed fight for the fans. But what I'm saying? It is what it is. I think it wouldn't have made no difference, the result of the fight, him being on steroids. Anyways, I think I would have taken him out there anyway. So even if he was on steroids, if they didn't catch him on the steroids. So it's a little bit disappointing because I've been wanting these big fights. I've been wanting the good fights that the people want to see. But, I think there's always something that gets in the way of that. So, like I said, it is what it is.
You had history with Uzcategui. I believe you sparred him before. I seen photos with you and him sparring. So how was that work with him, and when was that, if you could remember?
Well, the last time I worked with him, I was about 19 years old, and it was in Big Bear, California. And, that's why I was so confident, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew I was going to stop him because, just from the sparrings, I got the best of him in the sparring sessions. And I think we only had 2 sparring sessions. So I knew he was dangerous. I knew he had power, but, my skills are better than his. And, just overall, the way the sparring was going, that's why I was so confident coming into this fight. And that's probably why he decided to take steroids himself because, he remembers the sparring session. But, yeah.
Right. Now you set to face Kyron Davis, who had a draw with Anthony Darrell, a common opponent that you fought before. You are ranked number 1 on the WBC. So will the winner of this fight be mandated to fight Canelo? Is that still a deal?
I don't know. We just have to wait and see. This fight was supposed to be a WBC IBF title eliminator, and it's not no more. So, like I said, I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, keep winning these fights, keep looking impressive, and we'll see what happens. I think my spot still stands because my last fight was the WBC title eliminator, so we got to see what happens.
So either way, that shouldn't make a difference of you being the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez WBC title, right?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, my spot is already there, so we'll see what happens, man. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Things could change always. I mean, I feel like I deserve this spot. You know, I've worked hard. I worked for that spot, so I definitely should be the next one to fight Canelo.
Well, you never lost the WBC title in the ring, just like Tyson Fury before he beat Deontay Wilder. Shouldn't you be recognized as the lineal champion of the world?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like I lost my title because of because of being over on the weight. So I mean, I don't think I should be, still considered the lineal title. You know, I feel like it's the one who has right now is Canelo, but it's going to be that much sweeter when I get that opportunity and I take that off of him. So, I mean, I never like really like try to get into politics too much and say I should be something when I'm not. When I, obviously I don't have the title right now. So, like I said, I give the guys their position. I think Canelo is the one. He's the lineal title holder right now. So, it is what it is.
So how is Canelo the lineal champion? The lineal champion if you never lost that title? Because it's not a title. I know it's not a physical title. It's just like a status of the fighter who held the WBC title. But you never lost, just like Tyson Fury. Even when he had lost all of his titles, they always recognized him as the lineal title or the lineal champion. So how does that work?
I mean, it's honestly, I feel like it's based on personal opinion. You know, I feel like obviously I still feel like I'm the champion because I didn't lose it to nobody. But I mean, it's always different. You know, everybody has a different opinion. So I mean, it's whether if you want to call me the lineal champion or not. I feel like right now I don't have the title, so I'm not the champion until I get the titles back. Then I can call myself the champion. You know, just because I didn't lose to anybody, but I at the end of the day I don't have the titles. So that's why I don't really consider myself the lineal title holder because I don't have the belts.
Yeah, and then my point is that even when Tyson Fury didn't have any belt, he still was recognized as the lineal champion. That's all I was saying. But
Yeah.
that being said, a fighter who you've been calling out a lot recently, Charlo, he came out and said that he's only willing to fight you at 160 pounds. What's your take on that?
Um, I don't know, man. I think Charlo, honestly, he just has a lot of shit that he's not really willing to make happen. You know, at first he said he was going to come up to 168 and he was going to make it look easy. He was going to knock me out, this and that. We accepted the fight. Then he backtracks. He's saying that he's only willing to go at 160. I mean, if the opportunity was really at 160, I would fight him at 160. But I think he's just saying a whole bunch of shit. And then once, me and my team, accepted the terms and conditions, he just says something else. Like I said, like when we talked before, he said that I had to be over 25, I had to be vaccinated, all this and that. So I think he really doesn't want to fight. I think the person that he really wants to fight right now is Canelo. So I think that's the only reason he'll come up to 168. But as of him making a fight with me happen, I don't think they're really not trying to make a fight happen with me. I mean, but to be honest, I don't see why not. I feel like I'm one of the best fighters in this division. I see myself as number 2 in the division. And I've been here for a long, long time. So I feel like if Charlo should come up to 168 and he wants Canelo, then me and him got to go at it. I feel like may the best man win, and the winner from there goes goes for all the glory against Canelo. I think it's only right. I've campaigned my whole career at 168, and I don't think it would be fair if he comes up to 168 and they give him the fight with Canelo. But like I said, there's a lot of politics going on. There's a lot of things happening. So, I mean, I'm not really too sure what's going to happen, but I'm just still looking to make the best fights possible. I just want the big name. I feel like we had a great training camp this camp, and I was gonna definitely show my talents to everybody against a hard fighter, but we getting Tyrone Davis instead. But still, we gotta go in there and look impressive still.
Right. And speaking of Canelo, what was your take on Canelo turning down a 3-fight deal for a lot of money, which would have included you? It was a 3-fight deal, I believe, including you. So, what was your take on Canelo turning down that offer by PBC?
Like Canelo, he doesn't want to be he doesn't want anybody to tell him what to do. I feel like he wants to be the boss. So if he wants to fight with Daz in one fight, then PBC one fight, and then maybe with whoever else is left top rank or whatever, I think that's what he's more interested in doing. I feel like the contract with the 3-fight deal with PBC made a lot of sense, but I feel like he just, at the end of the day, he just wants to be the boss and he wants to be in charge of everything, and he doesn't want to be stuck down to one promotion.
Right. Dialing back to the Uzcategui situation, that's a fight that a lot of people was looking forward to because, obviously you're a dangerous fighter and it's hard to secure the big names for you. And this was a big fight. But that being said, since a lot of fighters have recently tested positive for PEDs, do you believe that what as a fighter, in your opinion, what can be done to prevent cheating in the sport of boxing since fighters' life is on the line?
Well, just the same thing, the same VADA protocols. I feel like, the way they're doing is really good. I feel like they caught Uzcategui on surprise because we had 2 drug tests before this, and then we had a 3rd one this week. So I mean, I just the same way they keep doing it. I think they're doing an excellent job catching this, and I think if somebody has to, that just says a lot about me and how everybody sees me too. I mean, if somebody says I'm such an easy fighter, why is somebody taking steroids to try to enhance their game to beat me? I feel like he was making really good money. It's really, IBF, WBC title eliminator was really big. It's a big opportunity, you know what I mean? And he just tried to pull a fast one and get over and, do the best thing to try in his head, thinking that was going to secure him a victory. But like I said, man, like even with him being on steroids, being on EPOs, I don't think any of that would have saved him anyways.
Do you think the punishment is fair in your opinion, or do you think that the punishment should be more than like a 6-month suspension, so on and so forth?
Have they came out with what the punishment that they're going to give him? Has that?
Not really, but usually if they do punish a fighter, it's no more than 6 months.
I think it should be more than 6 months. For steroids, I think it should be maybe a year or something like that. But just so people learn the lesson, steroids, that stuff is nothing to play with. You're putting somebody's life at danger. I mean, if you want to go and get stamina or you want to get power, go and get it the hard way. I mean, you don't have to do shortcuts and take steroids. But I definitely do feel that the punishment, the severity is not enough. That they have to go a little bit further.
Right. Yeah, you told me that Tyson is, one of your favorite fighters. So what was it like hanging out with Mike, hot boxing with Mike Tyson? That was a dope episode. So what was it like, being on the show with Mike?
It was dope. It was a really good experience. Mike Tyson is definitely a legend. So I had a really big fan moment myself where I was just, I remember, I'm still a fan of Mike Tyson. I always watch his videos still. So just being there across from the room, having him sitting with me, talking to me, and it was a really dope experience. And it was, a moment I'll definitely cherish for the rest of my life because, I've been looking up to Mike Tyson for a long, long time. So just having him there was a little bit surreal to me, and it was definitely a great experience.
And he's a big fan of yours. But what's your thoughts on his upcoming fight with Logan Paul that came out of the blue? So what's your take on that fight? You think it's gonna go 8 rounds like Floyd did?
I don't know, man. We have to wait and see. I feel like Mike Tyson deserves it. All the work he's put in, all the money that he's gotten stolen from him. If anybody deserves a big money fight like that, I feel like Mike Tyson is definitely the one who deserves it. But we have to sit and see what happens. Mike Tyson is still a dog. He's still Mike Tyson. So at the end of the day, Logan Paul has to be extremely ready. Mike Tyson has to be extremely ready because he's a little bit older now. But we'll definitely see how it turns out. I'm always going to be rooting for Mike.
Sure. Now, on the show, though, with you and Mike Tyson, Triple C had asked Canelo, he talked about when he asked Canelo when the cameras was off or off camera, what's your thoughts on Benavidez? He responded with, he's a dangerous fighter. Is that the reason you believe, he got you last on his hit list?
I feel like everybody knows, man. Everybody is. It's not a secret. Yeah, I feel like it's not anymore. Everybody knows I'm a dangerous fighter, and everybody knows that don't come to play, you know, and they have to be extremely ready for me. You know, I'm hungry. I work extremely hard, and you know, I'm a devastating puncher. So I feel like everybody knows, but I feel like out of the whole bunch of the 168 pounders, I feel like if Canelo's putting anybody out, you know, for a while, it's going to be me because I am the most dangerous fighter. But after this, you know, after it gets through Caleb Plant, I feel like there's going to be no more fighters. So that puts me in a good position. So I think I'm sure I'm going to be next in line, you know, because people have been calling for it. I'm ranked #1 in the WBC, so I mean, it has to happen.
Yeah, and Canelo is fighting 4 times next year, according to him. So yeah, he's gonna have a hard time picking 4 opponents, and you know none of them be against you. That being said, yeah, I saw you make a post about a fighter named Mario Cazares. Cazares, I don't know if you and him had a history, but he was dissing you a whole lot. But then he ended up getting knocked out by Morel. What do you think about David Morel? He's a Cuban fighter that's currently 5-0 right now.
I think David Morrell is a good fighter. You know, he's a good lefty. He had a good amateur background, and he's a good fighter. That's definitely a fight that I would love to make happen in the future. You know, it's definitely a crowd pleasing. It would be a crowd pleasing fight, and those are the type of fighters I want to get on my resume because he's a good fighter at the end of the day, and I feel like he's a great fight and would give the people a great fight.
Uh, did you see Edgar Berlanga last fight? Did you catch it?
Yeah, I did catch his fight actually. That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes I feel like people need to put the work in a little bit more before they let that stardom, all that shit get to their head. I mean, no disrespect, but Berlanga was there calling himself a superstar, that saying this and that about himself, that he made it already. And the first real task they put in front of him, which was a fighter that's not even good. He got knocked out by Billy Joe Sanders. He makes him look bad, and he drops him in the 9th round. And I think that should have been a fight easy for Berlanga. But in his head, he's just looking for one shot. He's looking for a power shot. Those type of fighters, I feel like they don't last long up at this level, because it's not just about power no more. It's about you thinking, you setting stuff up, and being much more intelligent than just going looking for one power shot.
So Bob Arum, he came out and he said that Edgar Berlanga performance was trash. So you think he overlooked his opponent? Is he not preparing right, or what?
Yeah, I definitely think he overlooked his opponent. That's what I'm saying. Once you give yourself a nickname like the Monster, you just believe your own hype. So is he still going to fight in December? I had seen that he had his fight lined up in December. Do you think he's still going to take that, or what's going on with that?
Well, he had a hand injury.
He had a hand injury. Yeah, I forgot about that. But I think the hand injury is the least of his worries, man. He needs to I don't know. I mean, honestly, I really don't care what he does. But, I mean, if I would still love to fight him. And if we ever get to that situation and we ever get to that point, you guys know we'll come out on top. But there'll still be a great fight to watch, as long as it lasts. But yeah, man, that's my take on that.
Oh, yeah. We would love to see it. Mexico versus Puerto Rico, always been, a rivalry there. You a fighter. Everyone knows your story. You even talked about it on the show previously that you lost a lot of weight. And obviously became a champion. Canelo recently said that Ryan Garcia is wasting his time and his talent. He not dedicated. He don't show up to the gym. We got to call him and he don't pull up. That's bad sign. What's your take on that as a fighter?
I mean, I feel like that's definitely a bad sign. I mean, you can't want it more than somebody. If the fighter's missing days at the gym, he's doing this and that, you can't try to motivate somebody to do better for themselves. They have to motivate themselves they have to be there to be having to work. I mean, I feel like he has a lot of talent too, so he's very good. So for Canelo to come out to say that publicly, that he's not focused and he's not doing 100%, that means it's way worse than what we even think. He's probably not even showing up to the gym. He's probably, slacking off a lot. So, I mean, for Canelo actually have to say a quote about him, it just means that he's not really taking his job serious.
Yeah, and that's a fighter in your camp. El Rayo. He's catching a lot of buzz right now. He's at a hot division lightweight. What's your take on El Rayo? Because I've seen him spar. I think I saw him spar you before. He's in a very hot division right now. What's your take on him as a fighter and his potential in the sport of boxing and at the lightweight division? When do you see him ready for a title shot?
He's a super good fighter, man. I mean, I've taught him a lot of stuff. You know, we work with him. You know, we spar with him. So I know he has a lot of potential to be champion. So it's just up to him. Like I said, he's just him to be dedicated, work as hard as he can, and try to learn on the job. But I definitely feel he could be champion. I think it's just in a matter of time when he gets that opportunity. I think he could be a champion right away.
Right. And obviously, there's a lot of great fights coming up, and I would like to get your take on a few. You obviously sparred Sean Porter when he was preparing for the Errol Spence fight. Now he's fighting Crawford. Can Sean Porter pull that fight off? Who do you think wins that fight?
I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Crawford, you know, he's a technician. He boxes a lot, but I think, you know, Sean Porter might give him a lot of problems because, you know, he puts on a lot of pressure. You know, he's consistent. He has good stamina. So I feel like, you know, it's going to be a really good fight. I really don't know who the winner is going to be. It's going to be
and Tank versus Rolly.
I think Tank in there, he's going to freaking destroy Rolly, honestly. I don't think Rolly has the skills or even the defense to do anything against, you know, Tank. I feel like his only chance is to make it a dirty fight. But I feel like that's too big of a stage for Rolly, honestly. I feel like Gervonta is just used to that. He's used to the pressure, and he's gonna go in there and do exactly what he has to do.
Canelo versus Caleb Plant.
I think Canelo is gonna go in there and stop Caleb Plant. I think he's gonna stop him with a body shot.
Yeah. So you don't give Caleb Plant a chance at all.
It's gonna be a good fight the first couple rounds for Caleb Plant, but I feel like Canelo's just gonna close the distance down. You know, hit him with the body shots, and I don't think that's something that Caleb Plant is ready for, and he's never seen that. And I feel like it's been even worse because, you know, his fight, since he fought Uzcategui, he hasn't really had no tough fights at all. You know, I feel like they've matched him up really well with people that don't have talent and don't offer him nothing, you know. So I don't think he's going to be ready for that level.
And you still stand about you would like to fight Caleb Plant, win or lose against Canelo?
Yeah, I would still love to fight him. That still stands with me.
Right. Teofimo versus Composis. Finally, the fight's taking place. What's your take on that?
Teofimo, I think it's too strong for Composis. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I feel like Teofimo's going to win by knockout.
And Devin Haney versus JoJo.
It's going to be a good fight. You know, I like both those guys a lot. I like Devin Haney. I like JoJo Diaz, so I'm not really picking sides, but it's going to be a great fight. You know, both of them come to fight. I think JoJo he's going to have to put a lot of pressure because Devin Haney is a really good boxer. So it's definitely going to be a good fight. I'm excited to see it.
Who would you say will come out on top, you know, top three out of the new generation fighters at lightweight between Teofimo, Ryan, Devin Haney, Shakur, Gervonta Tank Davis? Who do you see coming, you know, top three that you see coming on top?
I think Davis. I think Teofimo, and definitely, you know, Devin Haney, and also, you know, my training partner Ryo. I feel like once he gets in the mix there, he's gonna be able to put some good fights on and definitely win a world title soon.
And if Shakur, you know, final prediction, if the fight does materialize, Shakur versus Oscar Valdez,
that'll be a good fight. That's a good fight. That's definitely be a fight I would love to see, but I feel like Shakur, just from what I've seen his last fight, I think he's too much for Valdez.
Do you see Valdez taking the fight? Because I heard Bob talking about matching him with a 126-pounder.
I feel like he has no other choice, and he's already kind of up there. He's like 31 or 30 years old. So, I mean, if he wants to make the most money possible, I feel like he has to take this opportunity.
Right. And, you know, last but not least, what kind of statement you're looking to put on November 13th? I mean, obviously your brother's fighting on the undercard, El Rayo as well. So what kind of statement are you looking to put on November 13th?
I'm just looking forward to going back in there, enjoying everything, having the crowd back, man. I've been fighting in the bubble my past two fights. So this is definitely going to be a great fight for me and my family and everybody on my team. And I'm going in there and I'm going to do what I usually do. Go in there, you know, beating the shit out of somebody, you know, and getting the victory. You know, that's what I love to do, and that's what I'm always going to be, and that's going to be the type of fights I'm always looking to put on.
Oh well, we can't wait, man. Finally, first it was the COVID, now Uzcategui, testing positive for steroids, but we can't wait to catch you on November 13th. Is must see TV. The last message for the fans before I let you go, champ.
Yeah, I just want to tell all my fans, thank you for everything that, all the support and love they've given me. November 13th, I know it took a while, but November 13th, we're back in there, Phoenix, Arizona. Get your ticket, Footprint Center. If you can't, it's going to be on Showtime, and I'm definitely going to put on a great performance.
All right. Thank you, champ. Pleasure having you back on Split Decision. Thank you. So we also stay tuned. We're going to have Ed Rayo. He's going to, join us shortly. So that was David Benavidez, the lineal champion of the world. Obviously, he says that he don't want to be called no champion until he get his belt back or a belt. But at the end of the day, if you know how the lineal title works, you don't really lose it unless you lose in the ring. So like Tyson Fury, when he lost all his titles, he was still labeled as the lineal champion. They kept calling him the lineal champion of the world every time he got an interview, leading up to the Wilder fight and the rematch. They kept bringing up the lineal title. So David Benavidez still stands as the lineal champion right now. Nevertheless, he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez and the best at 168. The division is getting deeper, so we'll see who Canelo Alvarez fights next. But tune in on November 13th. Is going to be fireworks. A lot of people are not familiar with Caron Davis, but he's a good fighter. He had a draw with Anthony Durrell, so it's not a walk in the park. I know we wanted to see the Uzcategui fight, but again, this is a good fight. So make sure you guys stay tuned. That being said, I do want to talk about, Canelo Alvarez's recent comment. He came out and said that Ryan Garcia is wasting his talent. He's not really dedicated how he should be. And I agree with him. Obviously, we could clearly see it. A lot of people brought up, oh, why would Canelo say that? Because of the fact that Canelo is coming off on anxiety. He was battling anxiety, so on and so forth. But apparently, Canelo is more informed than we are. Even if you have anxiety, it's okay. But you still could show up to the gym. Boxing is a lifestyle. You have to breathe, shit, and sleep boxing. You don't just go to training camp whenever you have a fight coming up. That's not how it works. You have to be dedicated day by day, every day. Like I said, you sleep, breathe, and shit boxing if you want to become a world champion. You could play any sport in the world, but you don't play boxing. So I see where Canelo Alvarez is coming from. I definitely agree with Canelo because the whole anxiety situation, I was very vocal about it. A lot of fighters deal with anxiety. That's something you keep to yourself because future opponents will play mind games with you. If you tell the whole world, you're afraid. You're supposed to keep a poker face before, during, and after the fight. Like I said before, Mike Tyson, he said he had anxiety before all of his fights. He was afraid. That's what he said. He said, fear is the best emotion because it gets you prepared for the fight. When you're afraid, you're going to prepare how you're supposed to prepare so you could win the fight instead of lose. Even Sugar Ray Leonard, he said if he wasn't nervous before the fight, then something is wrong. He liked that nervous feeling because when he goes in the ring, he's on his P's and Q's. He gonna make sure he's on his P's and Q's and doesn't make any silly mistakes because you can't afford to make silly mistakes inside of that square circle. Therefore, for Ryan to claim he had anxiety and pull out of a fight and take a vacation, then come back and pull out of the JoJo fight, it just lets you know where his mindset it's at. Right now is his prime years. He's supposed to be racking up experience, racking up victories. win or lose, he could always get paid anyway. But at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia took a break, and we'll see. I heard he may come back and fight Gamboa. That's a good opponent because again, he needs a tune-up fight. He needs a fight that's going to build his confidence and get the ring rust out, because it seemed like when he got dropped by Luke Campbell, that shattered his confidence. He was screaming tank, 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 but reality hit when Luke smacked him with a hook. He realized, man, if this non-puncher could drop me, imagine what Tank is gonna do. And then he went and told Mike Tyson, how you gonna hit me? You need a ladder, this and that. Not knowing he's next to Mike Tyson. Every opponent Mike fought had more reach and height on him. But boxing is about a sport where you could take your disadvantages and turn them to advantages. And that's where the peekaboo style came with Mike Tyson. So when Ryan was telling Tank, you too short, you too small to hit me, we all wanted to see it. And obviously he ended up pulling out. He told Tank, that's, if you don't fight me next, your career is a failure, so on and so forth. And then he ended up ducking the fight. Appreciate the love and support. My man said, battling anxiety is a part of being a champion, bro. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, and I agree. I completely agree with that. Like I said, that everything you do you should receive anxiety at anything you do. Anxiety is an emotional, it's a human emotion. Everyone deals with anxiety. Like I said, Mike Tyson, he looked like every time he went in the ring, you will think he's ready to kill somebody. You would have thought he had no emotion, no fear. And what did Mike Tyson say? He said every time he walked in the ring, his heart was beating faster and faster. He was afraid, more afraid, more afraid. But once he get in the ring, he's ready for war. All that anxiety goes out of the window. So you got to know how to control your emotion and use it as fuel. So, like I said, that's the thing about Ryan. It ain't like he haven't fought at this level. It ain't like he haven't fought under the bright lights. If you take a kid and he has all the talent in the world, and you take him inside of that, in the ring, in the gym, in the boxing gym, and he's dominating everybody, whooping everybody in sparring. But when he fights under the bright lights, he's afraid, or he don't perform the same way. A lot of people call them gym fighters. They look great in the gym, but not under the bright lights. That's when you could say, oh yeah, he got anxiety. The anxiety is getting the best of that guy. Why? Because he's not performing how he's supposed to under the bright lights like he does in sparring. But Ryan showed time and time again that he could perform under the bright lights. He knocked out Duno. He beat Luke Campbell. He had good wins, against good opponents, so it ain't like anxiety, he freezes and can't do anything as soon as he gets in the ring. So we know that's not the case. That's why Canelo said what he said, and I think he's right on point. Laugh out loud, before taking down a baddie, I get anxiety. But I get it. I get it too, though. Facts. I think he talking about what he holler at, a baddie. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, you receive anxiety at anything you do. That's part of life. So I'm not quite sure, why Ryan said the things he said, but it is what it is. And at this moment in time, is really going to harm him for the rest of his career. This is going to come back and haunt him for the rest of his career. I never heard any fighter, I could be wrong, but I never heard any fighter come out and say, I'm battling anxiety, or pulled out of a fight because of anxiety. That's not what you do. Not at this game. Mike Tyson said this game is 90% mental, 10% physical. It's all up here. So if you're already telling your opponent you mentally not okay, you lost half of the battle. That being said, I might go ahead and pick up certain phone calls. Like I said, stay on the horn. I have El Rayo. He should be showing up soon. He heading to the gym right now, so he has no service. But as soon as he get to the gym, he's gonna join me in a few. But also, I want to talk about what's been trending as of late about what if people are wondering, due to the women accusations on Rolly, is that going to jeopardize? Is that going to jeopardize the fight with Gervonta Tank Davis? Right. Here is what Espinoza had to say.
Right now, like, where does that fight even stand?
Well, look, we were as surprised as everybody else. It's a lot of disturbing stuff and a lot of concerning allegations. We're looking at it very closely. We don't want to rush into a decision before we know all the facts. So we're monitoring it, and we don't have a decision or further comment at this time, but it's something we're definitely keeping an eye on as it develops.
The week before
that, you are innocent to proven guilty, right? So when I heard the news, a lot of people started speculating: is the fight going to be canceled? Is Gervonta versus Rolly Romero fight? Will the fight get canceled? The way it works, it's not that easy. If somebody threw an allegations on you, obviously it goes to court, and Rolly is going to be dealing with these accusations in court for like a year or two before anything comes to bout from it. So I don't see this really jeopardizing the fight. The only thing it could possibly do is Showtime doesn't probably want that reputation while building this fight. So either they want to clear the airwaves when it comes to these allegations, and see where they really stand. Because it is random and out of the blue that certain group of females came out and said that Rolly did this, that, and the third. Because why not come out and say that before? The fact that they chose to talk about it now, you wonder where's that coming from? So you wonder how true these allegations are. I mean, anybody could come out and say anything about anybody, but at the end of the day, is it true? Is it not? We shall see. But the way the process works is not, things don't happen overnight. Things definitely don't happen overnight. So I don't see this fight being jeopardized due to the allegations, because of the fact, like I said, when Kovalev, I believe he punched a female in the face because she wouldn't talk to him or something crazy like that. And he battled that for like a year or two, and he was still allowed to fight either way. So I don't see this canceling the fight, but it's definitely a black eye on the fight and on Rolly Romero as a whole. But nevertheless, I hope the fight goes down. A lot of people are, speculating if it's a money grab, because Rolly now is obviously fighting Tank, and he's going to make a lot of money. But if that was the case, they should have waited till after the fight to come out with these allegations. So we shall see. Like I said, I will keep you guys informed if the fight is in jeopardy or not. Virgil versus Boot Ennis. Well, that's the fight to make, but obviously the fight is not going to happen anytime soon. But Terrence Crawford did come out, and he was asked by Brian Custer, who is the biggest threat to the welterweight division? And Terrence Crawford responded by stating that Jaron Ennis is the biggest threat. he's more of a threat than a Virgil Ortiz, in his opinion, because he's a more of a complete fighter. And I agree. You know, Jaron Ennis, he has the power, he has the skill, he's a switch hitter like Terrence Crawford, and he possesses a lot of the same, you know, attributes. He has more tricks in his toolbox. He's just as skilled, and he's the, you know, he the boogeyman right now for sure. Even Virgil Ortiz said that he preferred to fight Jaron Ennis later. It don't make no sense to fight him now, but Jaron Ennis did make it clear that he's willing to fight Virgil Ortiz now and later. He would love to fight him now. So that lets you know that Jaron Ennis is the real deal, you know, and I believe his record is 28 fights with 26 KOs. So he's a very, very hard hitter. He's a hard hitter, very entertaining to watch. And a lot of people are comparing him to Roy Jones, and that's a hell of a comparison. But if somebody deserved the praise, it is Jaron Ennis, because he does have the talent. He has a talent of a nation. I mean, this dude could do it all. You know, he could box, he could bang, he could fight in the inside, he could fight in the outside. You know, he could mix it up. He got a very sharp jab. Sometimes he just get lazy and do whatever he want to do and get away from what his trainers want him to do. But he's getting back to doing what he's supposed to do as of late, according to him. But he is fighting tomorrow, so be on the lookout for the cookout. He's fighting Delorme, I believe. So that's a good card. I believe it's a fighter, a Puerto Rican fighter that fights similar to Muhammad Ali. His nickname is Muhammad Ali. He's also fighting on the undercard as well. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And of course, last but not least, you know, Shakur Stevenson, he fought Jamal Herring, and Terrence Crawford said that nobody beats Shakur Stevenson, and he's a threat to anybody. He's definitely a challenge to anybody he faces. And of course, you know, I co-sign that message 100%. I told people from day one when he first turned pro that Shakur has the potential to become pound for pound #1 in the future. And I still stand on that. You guys have to understand is that Floyd Mayweather, when he flew to Rio, I believe, when Shakur Stevenson was fighting in the Olympics, Floyd told Shakur straight to his face, without signing him, without anything, just straight up telling how he truly felt, that Shakur has the potential to surpass me. He didn't say be like me, he said surpass me. And those are big words coming from Floyd Mayweather. We know Floyd Mayweather is arguably TBE, right? The greatest of all time, the best ever. So for Floyd to say that, it just shows you what kind of talent Shakur brings to the table. Floyd Mayweather only said that about 2 other fighters, which are Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis. Those are the only 2 fighters that will, I really see, give Shakur Stevenson his toughest fights, his toughest challenges. Those are the 3. And those are the guys Floyd Mayweather said that they have potential to surpass him. And of course, he told Shakur the same thing. So Shakur is definitely that guy. You know, the sky's the limits for him. I think it's harder for Shakur to secure these fights than winning them. Like the fights with Oscar Valdez, the fight with whoever at 130. It's harder for Shakur to secure fights than winning. It's harder for Shakur to get the damn fight than to win the fight. And that's what's wrong in the sport of boxing. Like, you see Benavidez can't fight nobody at 168. You see Devin Haney can't fight nobody at 135. You see Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis can't fight nobody at 147. So for Shakur Stevenson, it's really going to be tougher. It's a tougher challenge to secure these fights than to even win them. So that's the ultimate challenge for Shakur, is to get these fights. You see Bob Arum, Oscar Valdez said he want the winner of Herring versus Shakur Stevenson. Then Bob Arum comes out a day before that fight, and he says he want to match Oscar Valdez with Navarrete. And it's like, that's just out of the blue. Why all of a sudden Oscar want to fight a 126-pounder that's moving up in weight, but he didn't want to fight Shakur when he moved up in weight? Better yet, Shakur just beat the man Herring, who's a title holder at 130 pounds, and who Oscar Valdez wanted to fight to begin with. Oscar Valdez did a face-off with Hearing. He said he want to unify with Hearing, and he told Shakur, if you beat Hearing, I'm going to fight you. All of a sudden now that witness protection is coming through. So, at the end of the day, I feel like, Shakur Stevenson is going to be tougher for him to secure these fights than to actually win them. But he has the talent, he has the skills, he has everything. All he's missing is getting the right fights to take him where he needs to be, where he needs to get. Andre Ward, during the fight, when he was fighting Hearing, he did mention that Shakur Stevenson, he said that, I believe he compared him to Floyd Mayweather and mentioned that this reminded him of the Gotti performance for Floyd when Shakur was fighting Hearing. And he was definitely looking like the closest thing to Floyd Mayweather against Hearing. But that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Shakur has the talent. He just needs to show it to the world. So the biggest challenge ultimately is getting the fights. My man said, because Bob's MBF is in effect, ask Bud. Yep. So, well, hopefully he could at least secure the Oscar Valdez fight. I mean, it ain't like Oscar Valdez has anywhere to go. He robbed his last opponent on steroids. He fought Robson and robbed him being on PEDs after he failed for PEDs and was allowed to fight on PEDs. So even if they don't give Shakur Stevenson an Oscar Valdez fight, it ain't like guaranteed Oscar Valdez is going to go out there and become a star. He's not in Canelo's position, and he don't even have a Canelo talent to be cherry picking C and B level fighters and get the W. So we'll see though. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines real quick. So, like I said, I have El Rayo coming through in a few. So whenever he come through, I will definitely stop the phone calls. But I'm gonna open up the phone lines. Go ahead, call in right now if you wanna voice your opinion or ask any questions. Hello,
That's
how you
all I'm
doing?
saying, dog.
Hello.
People got to learn how to respect. This is sport about manhood and respect. You can't just be talking crazy like we in the damn YouTube comments. You feel me?
Hello. Hey, my man, you live. Hello.
Yeah, dog. I'm like this.
Hey, 248.
All I'm saying is I ain't
live.
disrespect this dude.
We
He
live.
ain't disrespecting me. That's all I'm saying. It's like, dog, you can't be going around calling no grown man no dick rider or anything about dick.
Excuse me.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Man, my man don't know he live. Hold on, I gotta pick somebody else. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, AKHi? It's Kieran from Albany, New York.
All right, how you doing? What's your take on Bud Crawford? Well, of course, Andre Ward comparing Shakur to Floyd Mayweather Gotti performance when he fought Hearing.
Wait, say that one more time. I can't hear you.
What was your take on Andre Ward comparing Shakur Stevenson performance against Herring to Floyd Mayweather Gotti?
I want to say that's a little bit too overbiased. I wasn't really so like as far as like watching that fight. I wasn't really looking at that fight to be like a Floyd Mayweather Gotti performance. I just kind of looked at it as just like another typical performance by Shakur Stevenson. He did a great job. I thought Herring was going to come out with more brutality against Shakur, but Shakur he just figured him out and he got the job done, and I'm very happy for him. So.
All right. And what about Bud Crawford on who is the biggest threat to the 147-pound division? Do you agree with him? Is Jaron Ennis, or do you disagree and think it's Virgil Ortiz?
Like as far as Bud looking at Boots as like his biggest threat for the division, right?
Yeah, for the division. Do you agree with him? Is Jaron Ennis, or do you think it's Virgil Ortiz?
Oh, I think it's both, but preferably I think it's Jaron Ennis because I don't think Terrence Crawford wants any parts of Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis he will brutally stop Terrence Crawford.
Oh man, you don't believe in Crawford at all.
Hey, look, I kind of told you like the other day about Crawford's level of competition, and I actually emailed you about that BFTB situation. So I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I do believe Jaron Ennis will brutally stop Terrence Crawford.
So do you have Sean Porter beating Crawford?
I would say yes if Crawford is too lazy on defense. But if he's not lazy on defense and he fights like what we want to see out of him, I could definitely pull for Terrence Crawford. But for my pick, I want to probably go with Tom Porter because I just truly believe Tom Porter, he has a more destructive style that's going to break Bud down in the later rounds. And I don't think Terrence Crawford is going to handle that pressure late game. And if he's able to handle Sean Porter's pressure, I think Sean Porter is going to bring the best out of Crawford. And if he's able to get a win over Crawford, it's going to be a very bloody, destructive dogfight.
If Crawford dominates Sean or stop him, would you change your opinion on Crawford as a fighter?
I would say partially yes, just simply for the matter that, yeah, you've defeated a top welterweight, but you should have done this like a long time ago. Like, Crawford should have been, doing these types of fights earlier in his career. But leading up to this point, I think like a victory over Sean Porter is a little bit, like how should I say? It's a little bit too overblown. And I think if anything, this is just step one to reaching up to Errol Spence. And if he could do that same performance against Errol Spence for undisputed, I would definitely give Terrence Crawford all the credibility in the world.
Right. Now, when you say he should have did it a long time ago, against who? Because, they were avoiding him at 147. Nobody from PBC wanted to fight him. So who should Bud have fought at the time?
I don't know if you can agree with me, but I think if anything, he should have tried to push his undisputed status to become a mandatory to Keith Thurman. And even if Keith Thurman didn't want to fight him, at least he would still be able to be next line to go for that title. And then, if anything, I actually would have just gone after EJ right away. Because if you really think about it, if you could beat EJ for the IBF after he beat Kell Brooks, then Terrence Crawford, he could just go straight after all the other guys. Because if anything, that's just a clean, easy sweep. And Terrence Crawford, he would have solidified his undisputed legacy a lot faster.
Yeah, but the way it works, when you get the undisputed title at 140, that ain't going to help you get a title at 147 only under the WBO. The WBO, if you are the champion at 140, you have the WBO title at 140, you can move up and challenge for the WBO title at 147. As we've seen Usyk, he pulled that off against Anthony Joshua. and became his mandatory. But when it comes to the other titles, that's not how it really worked, right? And just to let you know, Keith Thurman actually turned down a fight, and he talked about it on more than one occasion that he turned down a fight against Terrence Crawford. So Terrence, as the champion, offered Keith Thurman a fight, and he turned it down. And last but not least, when it came to Errol Spence, don't forget when Crawford ran up on Errol, and Errol, my guy, but he told Errol, let's fight. And Errol said, why would I not go the easy road and knock Sean Porter out? Why would I not fight Sean Porter first, who's an easy fight, right? So Terrence wanted the fight right away. He wasn't looking for the easy fight. Like, okay, let me fight Keith, who's easier than Errol. No. He wanted to fight the boogeyman Errol right away. Errol told Crawford, no, I'm gonna fight the easy man, the easy guy with the title holder, Sean. Then I'm gonna fight you, right? So obviously it wasn't Terrence who was blocking the fights, because Terrence was the one who wanted to fight Errol right away. They told him go get a belt. When you said become a mandatory, Errol told him go get a belt. He got a belt. Then Errol said, oh, Sean got a belt too. Why would I not go the easy road? So it's easier said than done. If fighters want to fight, they're gonna fight. It don't matter what network you on. Like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, right? Like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez right now. We could talk about the other side of the street all day, every day. But if fighters want to fight, they can make the fight happen. And that's what it really comes down to. Terrence always wanted to make the fights happen. The other side did it. The PBC fighters, they wanted no part of Bud, even though he was pound for pound number one and above everybody else as far as pound for pound. Even if you don't have him pound for pound, he's above whoever we talked about, like Keith Thurman, Errol. He was above these guys in the rankings, and he was a big name. But Keith, he told Danny Garcia, I will welcome you to 147. But he didn't keep the same energy when it came to Bud Crawford. Errol, he said he wanted to fight Keith Thurman as bad as he wanted to breathe. But when Terrence was right in front of his face, he said, I want to fight. Why would I not fight Sean Porter first and get the easy money? And remember, this is before Errol fought even Mikey Garcia when they were having this conversation. So I'm just letting you know, if you check the facts, it will show you that Bud wanted these fights and nobody wanted to fight him. But we shall see, because Sean Porter is a good fighter, and I think stylistically Sean should give Bud a tough fight. But one thing unique about Bud Crawford is he make it look easier than what it is. Like, he will go in the ring and beat you at your own game. So, I mean, if Bud could stop Sean, Sean, one thing about Sean, he ain't no slouch. Sean fought Errol. Man, he got one of the deepest resumes, if not the deepest resume in the game. And nobody dominated him. They beat him, but nobody dominated him. So if Crawford could dominate him or knock him out, that's a big statement. That's a huge statement in my opinion, because we've seen the classic fights he put on against Keith and Errol. Those guys were supposed to stop Sean, but they didn't, because Sean is that guy. Sean he could fight his ass off, and I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight for Crawford. I'm just saying, if he could make it look easy or stop Sean, that's a statement. That's a huge, huge statement. Anything you want to say to that?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, what I say about Terrence Crawford is not out of pure hate or any disrespect. It's just simply because, like, I want to see him be great, but how he's been moving in the sport, it's just making me question a lot more about his character as a fighter. And I want to see him be at the top, but, I can't tell if he's going to be there until he gets into the ring with those guys. So I would say at this point, at the very end of his career, he needs to just, take, all odds, just go after all the, big fights, regardless of what the contract negotiations have to be, just take it or leave it. And just prove yourself to all the critics, including myself, of why you are pound for pound number one. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. But I can't really say I will question his character because, as far as questioning someone's character, I will question Canelo character because he tested positive for PEDs. I will question Oscar for cheating. I will question Oscar Valdez for ducking Shakur, right? That's how someone questions someone's character. Terrence, as far as the business decisions, which I'm thinking you alluding to, you know, I can't judge Crawford as far as his business decision because he's not a businessman. He's a fighter. So as long as a fighter wants to fight, I could respect that. Crawford wants to fight. Did he make the wrong business decisions by re-signing with Top Rank, even though Bob never gave him the Pacquiao fight and is not even paying him the right amount of money? Yeah, I don't think he made the right decisions. But that don't mean I'm gonna question his character because again, he wants these fights, and he's a clean fighter, and he never disrespected the sport and the fans by cheating the fans or the fighters by cheating like other fighters do. So I wouldn't question his character because he has the character of a champion, wanting to prove that he the best in the world, wanting to fight the best. These are the characters of a champion. As far as his business decision making, that's not him to blame. That's his team. As far as him being a businessman, that's not his job. His job is to be a fighter, not a businessman, right? Now, I will question someone if they ducking someone or ducking everybody or cheating. Then you could question someone's character when it comes to that the department, right? So that's why I think Crawford is misunderstood for sure, because I see a lot of people are influenced by a lot of people on YouTube who say certain things about Bud because they don't like him personally, but that don't change the facts that he wants to smoke with everybody and he want to fight everybody, and that everybody been ducking him. So, if anybody that's gonna fight Jaron Ennis, in my opinion, it will be Bud. I don't see nobody else willing to fight Jaron Ennis because nobody talking about fighting Jaron Ennis. So, we shall see though. We shall see. But I got a lot of callers on the line. Great talking with you, like always. I'm gonna go ahead, pick up the other phone callers, and I'm gonna holler at you later. All right.
Yeah, most definitely. Did you ever get my email about the BSTV situation?
Man, look, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's kind of hard to find you, man. You got to comment under my picture because when I go to my DM, I got like 1,000 DMs. So I got a lot of people dissing me. So when I go to the DM, I gotta check and scroll, and I just couldn't figure it out. But what you could do though, comment under my picture, like one of my pictures. Hey, check your DM. This is so and so and so. So I could click on your messages and it will take me straight to it.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All right. Hold on, let me read this super chat real quick. AKHi, did this dude here, the press conference, did Tom Brown not dispute that it wasn't Bud team that wants to fight, not the PBC? Yeah, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, Bud wants these fights, but he's a fighter. He can't make things happen. I mean, I just felt like he should have did. Look, I've been talking to a lot of teams behind closed doors, and the more I pick up on the business side, if fighters want to fight, they're gonna fight. Nothing is gonna block the fight from coming into fruition. If two fighters want to fight each other, the fight is gonna happen. So that's all I'm saying. Shit, stuff a lot. Okay, hold on. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
Hello? Man, I'm sorry for the outburst, but he called me a dick rider, and I just
I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, hold on. You got to fill me in if you can, and if what was going on.
I was explaining. He called me a dick rider, and I'm like, dog, dog.
Who?
He just being too passive aggressive. My man said just on the phone. I was out debating him, and then coming with facts. You talking about Terrence Crawford? I don't know how you can call an undisputed champion a dude champion in 3 weight classes trash, but an undefeated fighter trash. But I'm like, look, dog, don't disrespect me. I ain't disrespect you. That's all I was trying to get through. He kept on. He doubled down and then shit. I was like, look, dude, These people, this is what's wrong with boxing. They just like, I want to apologize to Broner for calling him trash because I was in the heat of the moment. Broner ain't trash, but I'm saying this is a motherfucking problem with boxing. The fans, you know what I'm saying? It's like they either don't want their favorite fighter to fight somebody like Uzcategui. They ain't pressing him to fight before. They just don't want to see him get beat up, and you know, and shit like that. Ryan Garcia been getting all these passes because they protecting him for some reason. Like, dude, this is boxing. Like I said, Leonard was fighting Duran at 22 and shit. These motherfuckers is young. Like, you know, he's saying Ennis could beat Bud. He should beat Bud. He's 24 years old. Bud 34. He should beat him. He's bigger than Bud. You know what I'm saying? He should be able to beat Bud. You know what I'm saying? That ain't saying shit. I mean, no shit. Like, anybody can look at Ennis fight and tell he could beat Bud. He's bigger, stronger, faster. I'm like, shit. That don't mean shit. That don't mean Bud. Like, Bud is 34 fucking years old. He got about 2 or 3 years left.
Yeah, but
so I'm like, bro.
It's not a
like these dudes, man, they killing me with this shit. Like, they ain't saying Virgil Ortiz fight Ennis. You know what I'm saying? He beat the shit out of Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, so it's like, that's why it's that passive aggressive shit. I want to see Bud and Spence fight because that's the fight of their era. Like, Bud and Spence to fight each other and retire for all I'm concerned.
Yeah, they need to fight.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to fight Boots.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, but I'm like,
Crawford and Errol Spence definitely got to fight each other. It's been drawn out for too long, and the fight got to happen. You know, and even the Jaron Ennis versus Bud, that's a 50-50 fight. I mean, it could go either way. You know, like Jaron is really
it's always gonna be. Bud never gonna be an easy fight for anybody. But I still favor Ennis in that fight because he's a younger, fresher, bigger guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's just the fact of the matter. It's like it's Bud third weight class.
So Terrence Crawford comment.
I mean, Ennis got the advantage.
Yeah, repeat that one more time. Say the last couple words.
I'm saying Ennis got the advantage. Ennis is bigger than Bud. He's younger. He got the advantage. Yeah. Bud is a dog. He ain't going down easy for nobody. Like, even Sean Porter, it's going to be a tough fight. Even though I got Bud winning, I know it's going to be a tough fight. I didn't say he was going to easily beat Sean Porter or Sean Porter was trash and Bud was just going to come in there and dominate him. I expect Bud to be losing the entire time and get a knockout stoppage. Kind of like the Kell Brook fight. Because that's just how Bud operates. He got Sean Porter, he got the build. If Sean Porter don't box like he did against Fujar, he's going to get knocked out. If he fight him like he did Spence, Bud is going to catch him. Bud got cracked at 147, and he got the dog, you know. They get in the dog fight, Bud is coming out on top. That's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? If Sean Porter raises his game and stop Bud or some shit, I give him all the credit in the world. You know what I'm saying? But that's why we want to see the fight. You want to see what happens. The fight is happening. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no need to say who didn't fight who or who called out who. They fighting right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, shit, this is what we wanted to see.
You know, you brought up a good
so I'm
point.
like, what the fuck is the problem? It's like, that's why it's like people want to talk about everything but the fight. They seeing the fight.
Yeah, you brought up a great point. You know
what I'm saying?
Terrence Crawford did move up 3 weight divisions. So this is his 3rd weight division. So Jaron Ennis, that's his natural weight class. But I still believe it's a 50-50 fight. However, what's your take on Terrence Crawford comment that he believed Jaron Ennis is the biggest threat at the welterweight division over Virgil Ortiz? Do you agree, and why?
I mean, of course. Ennis is looking like a once-in-a-generation type of talent. You know what I'm saying? Anybody with eyes can see that. Man, it's good. You know, Virgil Ortiz struggled against Maurice Hooker. He can't fuck with Ennis. Ennis a pummel him. He beat his ass. Like, but it's like, that's why even Robert Garcia said Virgil ain't ready for that. That's why they trying to match him up with Earl Spence, because they think his eye fucked up. He ain't the same fighter and shit. They try to force the fight in. If they could get something, if they could catch Earl on the downside, because he in his 30s now. So you notice when Earl was in his 20s, nobody was trying to fight his ass. He was like, boot. Nobody was trying to fight him. But now, you know, he's getting up there in age. He done got the car accident. He got the eye injury. You know, now they trying to, you know, now they like, they see the blood. But I still think Spence beat Virgil Ortiz pretty comfortably, kind of like he did Danny Garcia. And shit, you know, and then I still want to see the Bud Spence fight, which that's the fight we need to see.
What did Robert?
And the sport need that fight.
What did Robert Garcia say about Jaron Ennis?
He said Virgil Ortiz need like 4 years before he take that fight.
Wow.
And because they know he can't beat him, man.
Man, I'm gonna need that interview though.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, can you DM me the interview on Instagram?
Man, I ain't by the computer. I'll look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, whenever you
Just
can.
type in Robert Garcia,
what was
Crawford
the title?
Ortiz. That should have come up.
What? Say it again. What's the title? What was the title?
Just type in Robert Garcia. Just type in Robert Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, and Crawford. Just type in 3 names. That should come up. I know the algorithm.
I got you.
What you mentioned,
and let me
sit on there. It's like it'll come up.
I got you. And also another thing, you know, Shakur, you know, he fought Herring and stuff, and Bud said that Shakur, you know, pretty much is the, you know, nobody's gonna beat him. Do you agree with that? Or he's gonna give everyone challenge. Nobody's really gonna mess with Shakur like that. What's your thoughts on his comments?
I think Shakur is just him being with him taking top rank route. It was looked like a bad move in the beginning, but it actually was the best thing for his career because he was sparring Crawford. He sparring with Lomachenko, 19 years old, 19. He getting them rounds in with them. You can see it. You can see it. You can see him elevating. He like Terrence Crawford with defense. He's like a better version of Crawford. So he's gonna be very hard to beat. He the best out of all the young dogs. Like I think Tank the only one that got something for him, and that'll be the motherfucking that'll be the big fight for after the Spence Crawford. Tank against Stevenson.
I think
that's if Tank don't move up to 140.
Yeah, I agree.
Haney be a good. All of us a good fight. They all need to fight each other. Haney need to fight. Haney, Shakur, Tank, and Tio. They the 4 kings. Yeah. Brian Garcia, he a non-factor. I don't even know why people still bring him up.
listen, Devin Haney. I
but
think
all 4 of them need
to
to fight each other at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, when it comes to Shakur, the people that's definitely going to give him the most problems, Devin Haney with his style, with his skills, with his talent, you know, his defense, could fight inside, outside, his reach and height. That's going to be a challenging fight for Shakur and Tank because of his southpaw stand and power. You know, that's going to give Shakur problems. Them really the only 2 guys that, you know, going to present a big challenge for Shakur. So, you know, Shakur really looking like that guy, you know, the closest thing to Floyd. But, you know, you talking about top rank, obviously he getting all these good sparrings and stuff like that, but he needs to get these good fights though. That's what's going to matter is if he's able to secure these fights. Like I said before, I truly believe it's harder for Shakur to secure these fights than to actually beat these guys. You know, it's going to be a tougher challenge to get these fights than to beat them. You know, like the Oscar Valdez. I believe Oscar Valdez ain't even going to fight him on steroids. And if he do, he going to get stopped either way. So that's the challenge for Shakur Stevenson is, can you get these fights? Because these guys want no part of you, you know, at 130. So,
all right. I mean, I think Shakur, he just needs to move up to 135 and apply the pressure on him. Once he's in the same division with him, it's like the man's going to be there. It's going to be like, course here now, so it's like the names are gonna be matched to each other because they in the same. Once they in the same division, they're gonna have to collide. Like I mean, T.O. father say, keep his word to say after Cambosis they gonna fight Haney. You know what I'm saying? I think they both gonna be at 140. He might be. It's gonna be prolonged because they gonna go to 140 pretty soon. By the time Stevenson get to 135, and you know, we might not see that fight to another 5 or 6 years between any of them, which is a shame because I want to see them fight now instead of when they 29 and 31 and shit. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you know that's the state of boxing right now. They just
right. Do you agree with you know Floyd Mayweather comment? I mean, Shakur. Look, listen. At the end of the day, Shakur said, you know, he want to fight Lomachenko, right? And Lomachenko even said that, you know, Shakur pointed out every time I call Lomachenko out, I called him on ESPN before I even called out Oscar Valdez. I said I prefer to fight Lomachenko. That's who I really want to fight. And Lomachenko acted like he never heard him. Like Shakur don't even exist. So and that's
right.
What
he did the same thing with Haney. You know, he know those fights is going. You know, he can't beat them guys. So it's like Lomachenko. He basically gonna be the gatekeeper status now. Cause he like the guy since he lost his T.O. He got to fight Shakur. Somebody like he can't fight no more. But like he can't get back in the mix unless he got to fight Shakur. He might do the rematch with T.O. That shit don't happen. Who else he gonna fight?
Yeah, but when you say Lomachenko, when you said Shakur need to move up to 130 35 already, I don't see that. I don't think that's a good idea because you see guys like Lomachenko don't even want to fight him. So what's the point of even moving up to 135 if you haven't cleaned out your own division? I think he need to apply pressure on
That's
Oscar
true.
Valdez. He's in a perfect position to do so. He got a title. Oscar Valdez wanted to fight Herring when he had a title. So now Shakur got the title. So what's up? So I think he just need to, apply pressure, and pressure does bust pipes. But before I let you go, Shakur, when Floyd Mayweather, obviously, my bad, Andre Ward during the fight, he said that Shakur is looking like Floyd Mayweather against Gotti when Shakur was fighting Herring. What was your thoughts on that statement?
I think that's a little bit of a stretch because that was like him just holding up a little better than he wasn't getting hit with like five right hands in a row like motherfucking Gotti. You know what I'm saying? But it was a dominating performance by Shakur. But I expected that because Herring is in his 30s and he was not an A-level fighter to begin with. So the age factor, skills, he was Shakur would have beat him at any point in time in his life. But it was a good win for Shakur because he got a stoppage victory. It is his most exciting fight to this day. And, he did good. I mean, he stepped it up. Like Haney, when Haney did that his performance against Linares, that was like if he got his belt, like, they both did good, when they fight to get over that hump where people can't say, oh, they ain't fought nobody, but Herring, it ain't as good as a victory as Linares, but it's the best he could do because, like you said, don't nobody want to fight him. Who the IBF champion at 130? Who got the belt at 130? Who got the WBA at 130, and who got the IBF?
Well, the WBA, Lil B-Hop might get it. Lil B-Hop.
Okay, I mean, he called out Lil B-Hop, so that'll be a good scrap too. Like if him and Lil B-Hop fight, that'll be a good. I still take Shakur, but that'll be a good scrap, and that'll be a good name on Shakur resume. I mean, he just gotta get the belt. He just gotta if he get undisputed at 130, when he move up, they can't deny him. But like I said, Haney and Theo gonna be at 140 by the time Shakur gets to 135. So
yeah,
Lomachenko, he might as well fight him now because the ass whooping gonna be worse if he waits some more years. If he's already up there in age, you know what I'm saying? So he might as well. Bob Aaron might as well feed him the Loma. So to build up Shakur profile. I think he copied Mayweather promotions and had to fight in Atlanta, which is a good move. Because Kanye was at the fight. It was a big fight. Like what I'm saying. I was like Shakur building his profile up.
That's good.
So it's like it's a good. We'll see, man. It's just a sad situation.
Yeah. Anyways, great talking with you, my brother. Let me go ahead and pick up the other callers. All
right,
great
you
talking
take it easy.
Take care now.
All right, peace.
How you doing, Aki? Who this is and where you calling from?
Yo, Aki, what's going on, man? Boy,
all right, how you doing, brother? What's going on? You got anything on your mind, or you want to just talk about the topics at hand?
Yeah, pretty much the topics at hand. I did attend that fight though, the last week, the fight.
What was your take on that? Did he look like? Was he looking like the Floyd Mayweather, the next Floyd, or what? What you think?
I mean, it's hard to just say Floyd off of because Floyd is Floyd. But if anybody, it's the only people that I see comparing to Floyd is probably him and Haney. Like I don't think anybody else in that currently right now is even like comparable to Floyd. But I definitely saw a lot of similarities, like especially when he started getting in that shoulder roll, that Philly kill. Like, damn, you kind of get flashed after that. But yeah, it was good fight. People thought it was a lot of like people that thought Canelo would do better. I'm not gonna say I thought I did think it would like be more competitive. It was kind of like one sided. I was waiting. I'm like, all right, maybe waiting for the perfect time, but I don't think he was just fast enough. Like people underestimate Shakur's speed. Like all his gas was sticking. It looked like it was in slow motion. Like he just tagging him every time. I don't remember him missing any jabs like the first 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah, and he got away from the jab. I think he just got too comfortable.
Yeah.
So beside that, Canelo Alvarez said that Ryan Garcia is wasting his talent and his time. What's your thoughts on his comment?
I'm not gonna lie. For once, I agree with Canelo. Like Ryan Garcia, you need to worry about getting your shit together, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like Canelo, normally I wouldn't give him a pass, but this time you gotta side with Canelo. Like Ryan, you need to worry about your own decision first. And first of all, he need to worry about himself. Like I don't, we don't really know how serious this thing is. He's claiming mental health because for the ones that actually have it, it's actually a serious thing. So I'm not going like, I'm saying I'll just save my jokes to myself because I don't know what's going on with him. But he definitely needs to just leave Canelo out of it.
Yeah.
You barely got past Luke Campbell. Wasn't looking too good, bro. Like, you're not ready for Tank. So, you're not really ready to even talk about Canelo. Unless it was like was he talking about anything other than fighting him? That's what we're talking about, right? Like, something like Mike fight
No,
Canelo.
he was just saying that he's not dedicated to the sport. He's not showing up to the gym. He's not training how he's supposed to. Basically
Oh,
saying that boxing is a lifestyle and he's not training how he's supposed to. He's not dedicated. He's not 100% dedicated. And one thing I always tell fighters, even fighters I run across, is that if you're not 100% into the sport of boxing, if you're not gonna dedicate your whole life into the sport, then leave the sport. Don't even get into the sport because your life is on the line. You ain't finna play with soccer ball. You ain't finna play with a basketball. You gotta have two cojones to hop in that ring, and your life is on the line. So you better make sure you fully dedicated. And that's I think what Canelo's telling them is like, man, you got talent. You got the talent. So you just gotta have the time, dedication to work on your skills. Skills you gotta build toward. You could have the natural athleticism ability, the power, the speed, even the reflexes. Ryan don't have that, but I'm just saying in a fighter in general. But skills, you build it. Skills you learn. Skills is you got to master through training. It's not you're not going to be gifted skills. Skills you have to pick up through training. So I think that's what Canelo is talking about.
yeah, that's okay. So I completely misread that, but yeah, I definitely agree with Canelo. Yeah, like you said, he can't be one for this one. Yes,
Yeah.
not the sport for that.
And what do you
Don't
think
play boxing.
about the accusations? Do you think that's going to put the fight in jeopardy? The fight in jeopardy with Gervonta Tank Davis, Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero's a lot of accusations coming out on him, and obviously, we all hoping it's not true. Um, at the end of the day, you are innocent to proven guilty, and he does have a big fight. And this news came out of the blue. So what was your take on that?
Yeah, that's like a tricky situation too. Like you said, the timing is off. So, yeah, I honestly don't even know much about that situation to really even dive into it. But it's like you said, hopefully he's innocent. We would like to hope that he was innocent. I don't know really what's going on. The timing is crazy though.
Right. Yeah. And anything on your mind? Any question? You
Yeah,
have any
I mean,
question?
y'all pretty much covered it. Yeah, I was about to say, um, throw a couple questions at me, but yeah, the only thing I wanted to just say was just like about the Shakur thing. I feel like, because I thought it would be like 80, 90%, but it was like 30, 40% Jamal Herring fans in there. It was like a lot of Herring fans. And I don't know if they were really Herring fans or if they were rooting against Shakur. So I'm like trying to think about it. Like, when some people be like, oh, you need to be more humble or show more humility. It's like a lot of people sometimes say that in code kind of. It's like the more I hear some people speaking in code kind of when you say that, it's like, all right, it's like you want him to be humble because of what? Because it makes you feel away or like you can't keep up with what he's trying to say or it's like, some people do need to be more humble at times, but a lot of times people just throw that out there to try to like, dim down somebody. And I was like, I mean, Shakur, when he touched the belt, I was like, maybe people say, oh, he went too far, but he didn't really do anything crazy. Like, he just selling the fight. It's not like he, like, did anything wild. we've all seen people go way farther than that building up fights. So it's like he didn't really say much.
He's selling the fight.
I
He's
think
selling
he
tickets. You know, at the end of the
yeah,
day,
it's like he didn't even say.
yeah, you know, I mean, like I said, we know what time it is. It's definitely they speaking on with codes. That's what they doing. I mean, because they didn't say that about Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury just comes out, F you Wilder, this and that and the third. They don't say that about Tyson Fury. They don't say they love it when Tyson Fury does it. They love it when Conor McGregor does it. You know, Conor McGregor been doing it for years. You know, so it's like, man, Conor crosses the line. Like, if you watch the Khabib press conference, this man was violating his religion, his belief, his wife, his father, calling him a terrorist. And this man, he was going so many different places. And it wasn't to sell the fight. It was really bad energy. Like, you could see it was envy, it was hatred. You could see it was evil, like in his voice. Like, he was being evil that night or that day. And
yeah, because it was like
they
you could tell when somebody like
yeah, they loved it. He wasn't, and everybody loved it. Everybody saying, "Oh, he's just trash talking. He's playing mind games, this and that and the third." But when Shakur just does a little bitty of trash talking, oh, we don't like him because he trash talk. Oh, really? Oh, really? But they claim they hate Floyd Mayweather for trash talking, but they love the heck out of Conor McGregor. You can't have it both ways. When Conor McGregor came to the United States to fight Floyd Mayweather, the whole arena was booing Floyd and cheering Conor McGregor. Why? And I ran across people. I always ask people, why you hate Floyd? You know, and we, because they say, oh, I know Floyd gonna win, but I want Conor to win. My heart want Conor to win, but my mind telling me Floyd. And they bet that Conor is gonna win. I say, why is that? Like, oh, I don't like Floyd because he trash talk. Really? Man, Conor is the ultimate trash talker. Like, Floyd is not even close, you know. So again, it's that they speak with codes. It's like, yeah, you know, we know what it is. We know what time it is. It's all about the yin and the yang. You know, Floyd is just on the coincidental list, and it's not a coincidence because Conor McGregor crosses the line when it comes to trash talking. Floyd Mayweather only speaks facts. Just because Floyd says 42 have tried and 42 have failed, that's not dissing nobody. That's just speaking facts.
They hated it like he said something wild, like it wasn't true.
Right. And that's
I was so surprised leading up to that Pacquiao fight. Like, it was a lot. It was like maybe 80% people. I'm like, hold on, are all y'all really rooting for Pacquiao? I was like, damn, like, you know, you would think, you know, Pacquiao has his fans, you know, but I'm looking around and a lot of people really didn't want Floyd to win that fight. Like, yeah, like, y'all really.
Yeah, of course. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, they can't stop God playing. You know, I mean, you know, they can hate, but they can't stop Shakur. They can't stop Devin. You know, these guys, you know, they destined for greatness. They can't stop Gervonta. You know, the thing about boxing, people love fighters that want to fight the best. I mean, people love Benavidez because he want to fight the best. I mean, with Benavidez, I mean, a lot of people. Man, Charlo, one of my favorite fighters, and there's no secret about it. But when he did the thing he did with Benavidez, he called him out, said, "I'm gonna knock him out," this and that, the third. As soon as Benavidez caught his bluff, what did Charlo do? Oh, you got to be 25 years old. You got to be vaccinated. Oh, you don't got a title. Oh, there's that. It's like he put a bad taste in people's mouth. Now nobody really rooting for Charlo no more. Now Charlo fans became Benavidez fans because people figured out. Damn, Benavidez want to fight. Charlo don't want to fight. So that's how you earn people respect, is by wanting to fight. This is man, these fighters get paid to fight, not paid to, you know, hold the title hostage, so on and so forth. Doesn't Andre want to fight at 160? Since Charlo only want a title, why he don't fight Andre? Right? But he don't want to fight Andre. He tells Andre, "You're a horrible fighter," but then fights Montel. Then he don't want to fight Benavidez because he's too big, even though he said he's going to knock him out. So that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, boxing is all about the best versus the best. And that's what new media push for, is the fights that the fans want to see. So if you mad at me, sounds like you a fanboy of a certain fighter and you don't want to see the best fights. Because Benavidez want to fight Charlo. Shakur want to fight Oscar Valdez. Devin Haney want to fight Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Crawford want to fight Errol Spence. The best must fight the best. And that's why the sport is not growing. I mean, you see the UFC, they always, man, you lose, you come back the next day. But boxing, you take a loss and they take it as a big deal. Like, you know, look at Ryan Garcia. This man is receiving anxiety just because he don't want to suffer a loss. He don't want to get knocked out in front of the world. I think that's
what it is. Yeah.
He didn't become
a
YouTuber.
Some reason, yeah.
You know, and it's sad. I mean, Ryan, I think Ryan looked at Jake Paul's success and he like, man, you telling me I gotta fight these killers like Tank, Devin, you know, Shakur, T.O., and get paid good money, but Jake Paul making just as much money as I am, and he's fighting UFC fighters. I think he looked at it like, man, I need to be a YouTuber. And now he's a YouTuber, man. Like I checked out what Ryan was doing recently, and he's doing predictions, like what I do, you know, predicting fights and breaking it down. I'm like, what's going on, man? We need to be worried about that. You need to be fighting, and we need to be predicting your fight. Don't worry about what we do. Like he doing, like I said, he want to be a YouTuber, but you can't be a fighter first, then be a YouTuber and not try to be a YouTuber full time. Nah, you could use YouTube to grow your platform. You could use social media to grow your platform, but your legacy must come first. You know what I mean? And that's, I think Ryan looking at it the wrong way. Like, man, I think he's kind of a little jealous of Jake Paul, of the risk he got to take with the reward that comes with it.
Yeah, because it's too many in the division. He looked left, you got Shakur over there. Then you look to the right, you got Devin Haney, Tank, and what's his name over there? I'm like, you can't really run so long. Even they got to gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, because you can't. The division he in now, it's like you can't really go nowhere. It's too many heavy hitters.
Yes, sir. And OG Swag, I appreciate the love and support. My man said, receive the new gear. The new design is proper still. Salute. Man, I appreciate the love and support. The AKHi merch, you know, as you guys see it, you know, it's all when you click on my video, or you could click on the channel, you go to the store. I got so many things coming. You know, I'm working on it, so I'm still in the process, but I do have some stuff up. And, you know, you could pick you up AKHi merch, represent. That's the best way to support is, you know, rock that AKHi merch. Like I said before, you know, I always put the whole truth together like puzzle. So, you know, if you love hearing the truth and you want to support the movement, then go ahead and cop an AKHi merch, you know. So I appreciate the love and support, OG. But yes, you know, like I said, speaking of, you know, Ryan, at the end of the day, you know, it's like he got to make up his mind. You know, Jake Paul is fighting what's that guy name? Tommy Fury. I think it's Tommy Fury fight is official. He fighting Tommy Fury on December 18th. And look at Jake Paul. They said, oh, fight a real fighter. And he's now fighting a real fighter. How much experience Jake Paul has?
Sure, they got that done quick too.
Yeah, he got it
done
quick.
That's the thing. I ain't gonna lie. He gets his contract settled quick. That's the one thing. Like, even though people say he might be bad for the sport, but at least he's showing you can get these fights done. Like, you don't have to go back and forth all day. Like, as soon as he picks an opponent, it don't take him long to announce it.
Man, you got to respect that. You got to respect the fact that they told him you need to fight a real fighter, a real boxer, and he went and fought, Tommy Fury without any problem, and he made it happen like this. Teofimo Lopez still ducking to the day. You know, Oscar Valdez to this day. Charlo to this day. Let's all be honest. You know, Canelo to this day.
I was Charlo. Oh man, I was riding with Charlo, bro. I was like, yeah, bro. I didn't think he would do that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Look, so Jake Paul gonna fight Tommy Fury before Charlo fight Benavidez, before Canelo fight Benavidez, before Oscar Valdez fight, Shakur, before T.O. fight Devin Haney. It makes no sense whatsoever. And people want to complain about YouTubers. Well, you should be mad at yourselves because y'all not making the fights happen. Teofimo, Oscar Valdez, these guys are blocking the fights that the fans want to see. So what do you think that's going to happen? There's money in boxing that boxers are not taken advantage of by not fighting each other. The best are not fighting the best. So you got a Jake Paul who's willing to fight somebody like Tommy Fury, and he grabbing all the money. Now this fight finna do like $1 million pay-per-view. You know, that money could have went to Tio pocket, to Oscar Valdez pocket if they would have fought Shakur. You know, Tommy Fury called out Jake Paul a year ago, and now Jake Paul is fighting him today. Shakur Stevenson called out Oscar Valdez 3 years ago, and he still ain't fought Oscar Valdez today. Same thing for Devin Haney. Same thing for Charlo and Benavidez. So that's my point. You know, people complain about Jake Paul.
Like, I'm gonna give Charlo the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully, I don't know, but I'm hoping I got like a slither of hope that like maybe later down the line, maybe I'm thinking like, all right, maybe later in his career. I feel like they're trying to drag it out with like a Crawford thing too, though, because like I want him to fight since now. Like I'm not trying to wait. Like I feel like they just want to keep prolonging it so Crawford can just get older and older. But like I don't think they could prolong it for so long. Like Crawford not going to just get out of shape.
Look,
I feel like he got like a strong.
You can't build the fight.
Yeah,
but you can't really drag a fight by dragging it out. It's just if you want to fight or you don't. Look at Jake. Jake could have dragged the Tommy Fury fight, but he fighting him because he knows social media going to blow the fight. If the fight happens now or 3 years from now, it's just as big. Matter of fact, the fight is bigger when it happens when the fans want the fight to happen. So these is nothing but duck tactics. I mean, you see Logan Paul fighting freaking Mike Tyson. You see Jake Paul fighting Tom Fury.
That was another surprise.
You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on? And we can't get a Ryan to fight Tank and Tio to fight Devin, and that's the problem. You know, so
yeah, man, I don't know what to think. I guess you gotta just appreciate everything and just that's the only way to keep moving forward. Because once you start picking and choosing, it's like, all right, because you never really know what's going to happen, especially nowadays. So all of this hopefully will just be just great. So you got to have all the pieces, like you said, but you got to put the pieces together.
Yeah. So
I don't know, maybe Jake will help out the sport.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy to be saying. I'm not endorsed to that. I don't know. I might take that back. I want something like I'm endorsed.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to get at is that whole, like, you know, they like to say things and speaking in code when they like certain fighters and all that. But yeah, when we can make these fights happen, that's one thing.
Yeah, these fights could definitely happen. I mean, you know, like I said, it doesn't take if two fighters want to fight each other, the fight can happen. You know, and we see it. You know, we saw it with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We've seen it time and time again. You know, if two fighters want to fight, they're going to tell their promotional company to make the fight happen. The only way a fight doesn't happen is if one fighter doesn't want the fight. Then he could tell his team, look, I don't want the fight. So don't negotiate or stall negotiations or ask for too much money. It's more than it's more than one way you could duck a fight. There's plenty of ways you could duck a fight. So, you know, and that's what's going on in boxing right now, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, the best must fight the best. So if you ain't with that, you got you got to move out of the way. I mean, you know, people like Tyson Fury right now, he got Dillian White problems. He can't just wait to fight Usyk versus AJ winner. And Dillian White, that's a good fight. That's a 50-50 fight because stylistically, Dillian White should give Tyson Fury problems. Matter of fact, Dillian White supposedly knocked out Tyson Fury twice in sparring or knocked him down twice in sparring. And Tyson Fury never denied them allegations. He was going back and forth with Dillian White, but he never said, oh, it's not true. Why? Because maybe it's true. You know, one thing for sure, if someone claims they knocked you down in sparring and they didn't, you're gonna say, oh man, hell nah, I mauled you in sparring, so on and so forth. You're gonna address the fact that it's not true. But the fact that Tyson Fury completely ignored it, it lets you know there's substance to it. that's definitely substance to Dillian White giving Tyson Fury a hard time in sparring and getting dropped. We've been hearing them stories a lot as of late, matter of fact, because another fighter in Anderson did the same thing.
Everybody's best.
Yeah, so the fight,
When they fight Tyson Fury, they fighting like this fight. So he probably going 100% in all of his sparring matches. Like that.
Yeah, well, one thing for sure, Dillian White does have skills, you know.
Yeah, like he probably was pre-dead like this, or he's like, oh, I'm like, here. That's probably how everybody thinks when they sparring. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
But well, I don't, like I said, I was waiting on El Rayo to show up, but I think he probably too busy. So I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, I'm gonna wait it out. See if he shows up. If he don't, go ahead and call in. Like I said, if you guys want to voice your opinion or talk about anything, the number is in the description box. But it looked like my man El Rayo is not gonna show up. It seems like he's in the gym sparring. But we shall see. If he don't show up, then I'll catch him next time. But that being said, any last comment you want to make?
Nah, man. Yeah, appreciate you going live too, bro. So yeah, I'll tune in. I'll keep it on in the background just in case. He might show up like an hour from now. You never know. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. I appreciate the love and support, man. And I'll talk to you next time.
All right, we'll be.
All right, for sure. So to this we have a huge boxing schedule coming up this week. Ennis is fighting the WBA title holder at welterweight as well. I think they have a tournament going on next week. Is Canelo versus Caleb Plant. The week after that is Benavidez versus Chiron Davis. Like I said before, he fought Anthony Durrell to a draw one time, so he's a good fighter. It's not a walk in the park. It's definitely a good fight, and he will give Benavidez a good fight for some rounds. But I do see Benavidez stopping him. I think Benavidez would have stopped Uzcategui as well. It's a reason why Uzcategui had to juice up. Also the week after that is Crawford versus Sean Porter. On that same week, we have Andrade fighting. The week after that is Teofimo Lopez versus Composis, along with Fulton and Figueroa on PBC. The week after that is Devin Haney versus Jojo. It seemed like Jojo Diaz is prolonging VADA, according to Devin, because he refuses to sign the contract, even though he already agreed to all of the terms. Hopefully that fight does go down. Also on that same weekend, Tank versus Rolly. Hopefully the allegations don't stop that fight from coming to fruition. The week right after that, I believe Lomachenko is fighting Kome. I don't think the fight is official. They still in negotiations, but that is the talks of the town. The week after that is Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, and the week after that is Gennady Golovkin versus on December 29th is Gennady Golovkin versus the WBA champion at middleweight. So stay tuned. Like I said before, it's going to be a packed weekend, and I appreciate the love and support. Let me go ahead and pick up where these people came from. Oh, somebody just called in, but he did. if you want to, call back, I definitely, let you get your thoughts across before I let you go. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is, and where you calling from? Hello?
Oh, this me? Nah, I just put it in the chat. That was the only thing that just popped in my head about the whole reason I was saying that about Shakur because he was standing up in between rounds. You remember that?
Yeah, I forgot to mention the part about Shakur standing up in between rounds. A lot of people thought he was being arrogant, but he was trying to get inside Jamal's head. Oh, I didn't even know he was standing up because did you go to the fight? Because there was commercials popping up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That's the whole reason I brought it up. I forgot to mention that for some reason, but that's the reason I brought up the whole thing about him being humble. That's what they were saying, like, because I was there because Haven Brady Jr. was on the undercard, so I was there for like the whole thing. So like, that's what they were saying. I'm like, in my mind, I thought like he was trying to play head games with him, and I think it worked because Herring was looking tired after like round 3 or 4. And he looking over at him and Shakur like standing up literally. He didn't sit down. Like I think he sat down in round 1 and then 2 through the whole fight.
Of course, man. At the end of the day, if it's all mind games, it's like it plays with your energy. When your opponent sees you and you're looking like you're not tired at all, guess what's gonna happen? His energy level gonna go down. When he sees you full of energy, he gonna be like, man, I'm over here dead tired, and he looked like he didn't even break a sweat. He's standing up while I'm gasping for air in the corner. So yeah, all of this is mind game. But like I said, they're always trying to turn the positive to negative when it comes to the fighters on the coincidental list. So we know.
Yeah, they were trying to act like he wasn't trying to listen to a trainer. Like, nah, they know it's right.
Man, he hadn't
But yeah, that's
to
all
nobody. Shakur, what he need to listen to at the time? I mean, he was just doing everything he wanted to, and obviously, it was one of the most dominant performances of the year, and one of the most exciting performances of the year. What did he need to listen to? But we know what time it is when it comes to all of the above. But that being said, my man that called in, Hank, I don't know why he left. So, nevertheless, appreciate you. Go ahead, click on that like button, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. It's free. It don't cost a penny. So don't hate, appreciate. If you ain't an AKHi of mine, go ahead, subscribe, and become a family member on the channel. So that being said, I appreciate you, my brother. Great talking with you and everybody in the chat. Shout out to OG and everybody that threw in a donation as well. Davis, and everybody else in the comment section. Thank you. All right, peace.
All right, bro.
Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.